So here we are looking at the lower Skeena trees on mulch. Now the mulch has mostly been degraded and is no longer present. But what I wanted you to look at here is the amount of fruit that are directly exposed to the sun, such as these cherries here. These cherries will not yield a high quality piece of fruit because they will be sunburned. Skeena cannot take heat. On the next hot windy day that we have, all of these cherries that are just exposed will, well, I shouldn't say the next hot day, but they will degrade. This is one of our just one of our low volume sprayers sitting out here. Now, if you look here, this is this type of fruit is what we like to see. We like to see fruit that has some leaf shading around it to protect it from the sun. The same with a tree like this, or this group of fruit in here. We want to lift up the branch and see cherries amongst leaves. That is what we want to see. But on this very same tree here, you can see that there are fruit that are simply exposed, and these cherries that are exposed are going to yield inferior quality fruit. The other thing you might notice is the length of the new shoots, and you can see that the shoots are not what I would consider long enough to be growing and providing good canopy cover for these trees. The other thing we have is a lot of blind wood in here. This is a branch. This shoot here that I'm pointing at goes up, and you can see that at the base of it, the basal buds here are all 100% fruit buds. There are no vegetative buds here on this branch, on this shoot from last year, and then on this shoot. You can see there's vegetative buds up above, but down below there's just fruit. And that leads to what is called blind wood, which means that after these cherries that are here are picked, this piece of wood, this section, will just be blind. There will be no more buds that yield any fruit or vegetation there. And what happens is that leads to this phenomena. You can see this shoot here had cherries along it in the past. They were picked after 1 year, and then it's just blind. We call that blind wood, and it is not a desirable thing because it leads to wasted space in the orchard. You can see it here too. That's blind wood there. You can see it along this branch. That's all blind wood, and then you only have fruit or vegetation growing at the tip of the branch. So again, when we can see a lot of cherries in a Skeena block, when we can walk through and we can very easily see a lot of fruit hanging, that is not a good thing. We want to actually have to look for the cherries. We don't want to see it easily, because again, that means that the cherries are exposed to sun and to wind and heat, and they are going to degrade. So next I'm going to walk down to the compost block. I haven't made it to the compost block yet, but I wanted to show you this tree is an extreme example of lack of vigor. All of the fruit are exposed on this tree, and you can see the shoot growth is only, I don't know, 8 or 9 centimeters maybe in length, if that. All of these fruit are going to degrade in the sun. The tree next to it has a bit more vigor, but you can still see many exposed fruit, and that's not a good thing. So I'm going to keep walking now towards the compost block. So here we're at the last row of the mulch block. You can see these trees here, and then this row that we're looking at. See how much larger this tree is than this tree. This is a mulch tree that received no compost, only mulch. And then these trees down here below me have received compost. This is their 4th year being under compost and mulch management. And you can see how much bigger the trees are. There is some exposed fruit here, which we don't like to see, but we still have shoots growing. We still have shoots that are starting to grow along here, and they are sheltering a large amount of fruit. If we look underneath, we can actually see that there is a large amount of fruit there that's being shaded by the canopy. If we look in here underneath, again you can see all of these cherries, which there's a lot of cherries here, lots of clusters of cherries. It's a very, very high production rate. These are all shaded in the canopy of the tree, and that's why we need many of these shoots developing to shade fruit. Again, here this cluster is not totally shaded, but these shoots that are growing here, this current year shoots, are shading a very large amount of cherries growing in this cluster. So that's actually what we want to be seeing here. So again, the compost trees that we're looking at don't have perfect shading, but there's a lot more vigor in these trees and a lot more shading of the fruit, as you can see under here. But blindwood is still an issue. You can see this branch grew here last year, and at the base of the branch, you can see right here, it's nothing but fruit going to create blindwood for us there. But all of these clusters in here are shaded from the sun, which is a good thing. So I'm going to walk along here. There's our mulch spreader. We have a bit more compost to do. So this gives you an idea of just how tall these compost trees have become. They have a lot of canopy. You can see very little cherries really for Skeena being exposed. And I think in the next couple of years, these will be at a canopy level that really protects the fruit from the heat and the wind. Here's our last compost row, and then see how much smaller our mulch trees are. There's a mulch tree next to this really tall, almost double the canopy volume really, between the mulch tree and these compost plus mulch trees here. So anyway, that's in a nutshell the type of Skeena tree we would like to see is these big bushy trees with very, very long shoot extensions. And if you get underneath and you look up, there's all kinds of cherries here being hidden by leaves, being shaded, and so that's why we want to be seeing this high rate of growth of our canopy in this variety. One thing I should note is that this variety is fairly easily sized, and so if we're balanced, you might consider this being balanced too towards the vegetative growth and not enough towards fruit growth. But this variety is easily sized, so they get big, and it also is very precocious, so production is very high. We actually, don't want to see clusters packed super tightly, because the cherries will grow so big they'll become square, and that's considered a negative a negative thing. All right, there's the Skeena that are on mulch versus the Skeena on compost.